It's Friday, May 31. In the headlines, Jamaica's National Disaster Fund now stands at more than $550 million. Court rules no release for Vybz Kartel and co-accused. In business news, Chinese ambassador highlights partnership with Jamaica in economic development. Regionally, St. Kitts and Nevis leads the charge on tackling health crisis discussion at SIDS. And in sports, some of the world's biggest track and field stars are set to compete at Racers Grand Prix Saturday, June 1. This is the weekend news on PBC Jamaica. I'm Simone Absalom Gale. $550 million. That's what's in the purse for Jamaica's National Disaster Fund. This marks a substantial increase from the $100 million in the fund at its inception. Prime Minister Andrew Holness shared the information while speaking at Wednesday's National Disaster Risk Management Committee meeting at Sandals Orchard Beach Resort in St. Anne.
The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration of the United States, they're projecting that there should be 17 to 25 named storms, 8 to 13 hurricanes, and 4 to 7 major hurricanes of Category 3 or higher.
In preparation for the start of the hurricane season on June 1, Jamaica has also secured a contingent credit claim with the Inter-American Development Bank, providing access to US $285 million in the event of a severe hurricane or earthquake.
We are living, as we have always done as a society, but now increasing with intensity and complexity, in a time where we could have multiple disasters happening all at once. So you could have a pandemic, a hurricane, you could also have a humanitarian disaster, all three that you have to be able to respond to at the same time. So we have to be prepared.
Mr. Holness says Jamaica has significantly improved its ability to self-insure against low-intensity, high-frequency events.
What is the utility that good economic management brings to the country? So it's not just keeping the dollar stable. It's not just managing inflation. It's not just bringing down the debt to GDP. All of those lovely things that you hear about when we talk about economic management. It's not just ensuring that we have good credit rating, but most importantly, it is about ensuring that when a disaster strikes, we have the wherewithal to respond and to overcome.
The country is also a member of the Caribbean Catastrophe Risk Insurance Facility, a multi-risk pooling mechanism designed to offer quick financial liquidity to member governments in the aftermath of catastrophic natural disasters. The government of China is committed to strengthening technical cooperation with Jamaica in a number of areas, including health, agriculture, science, and education. China's ambassador to Jamaica, Chen Dujiang, shared a comprehensive report on China-Jamaica relations. Brittany Walker has more in this report.
2024 marks 52 years of diplomatic relations between China and Jamaica. Since then, they have supported financial economic development in the areas of investment, new energy, agriculture and fisheries, and digital economy.
According to statistics from China Customs, the trade volume between China and Jamaica in 2023 was $1.28 billion, a year-on-year increase of 25.8%. China continues to be Jamaica's second largest trading partner Chinese companies have invested in Jamaica for more than 20 years, with a cumulative investment of more than $2.1 billion and directed creation of 40,000 plus jobs.
People-to-people exchanges have increased.
China continues to carry out the Chinese government scholarship project to fund Jamaican students to study in China. The embassy continues to provide Chinese ambassador scholarship to Jamaican university, with the number of total places increased from 20 to 32. The Confucius Institute at the UV Model Campus and Chinese communities in Jamaica have actively organized various Chinese cultural activities on the occasion of major festivals.
The Chinese government has also made it easier for Jamaicans traveling to that country.
We continue to simplify the visa application process, temporarily exempt qualified applicants from fingerprint collection, and offer a 25% discount on visa fees. Our embassy has implemented a visa appointment-free policy.
This year marks the 75th anniversary of the founding of the People's Republic of China. Brittany Walker reporting for PBCJ News.
Details of the proposed unemployment insurance scheme will be submitted to the Cabinet soon. Minister of Labour and Social Security Pernell Charles Jr. made the announcement during his contribution to the 2024-2025 sectoral debate in the House of Representatives on Wednesday. He said it will be implemented through the Social Protection for Increased Resilience and Opportunity project. He also informed that the ministry will be utilizing technology to improve service delivery through the Innovation Transformation Project. He says phase 1 of the project will focus on greater use of digital payments for the program of advancement through health and education, pensions, and other social benefits, development of a national insurance scheme portal for contribution tracking, and a mobile application for the overseas employment program, as well as the modernization of work permit system. Dancehall entertainer Vybz Kartel and 2 of his 3 co-accused should remain behind bars. The ruling was handed down by Supreme Court Judge Justice Andrea Thomas on Wednesday, pending the decision of the Court of Appeal on whether they are to be retried for the murder of Clive Lizard Williams. Attorneys for Kartel, whose given name is Adidja Palmer, and Sean Storm Campbell and Andre St. John had filed a habeas corpus application requesting their release following the recent Privy Council decision to quash their convictions. Their attorneys had argued that because the convictions were thrown out, the charges against the men no longer existed, so they were being unlawfully detained and unconstitutionally deprived of their liberty. However, Justice Thomas said the charges remain and there was no order from any court for their release. Noting that graduation ceremonies are pivotal events that mark the end of one chapter and the beginning of another, Minister of Education and Youth Favour Williams is urging school administrators and other stakeholders to make graduation ceremonies accessible to all students. Danita Rodney tells us more.
Speaking at Wednesday's post-cabinet press briefing, Education Minister Favour Williams said that graduation ceremonies hold great sentimental values to Jamaicans, and it is important that they are memorable and inclusive for all who participate.
As everyone knows, graduations and school leaving ceremonies are pivotal events that mark the end of one chapter and the beginning of another in the lives of our students. These ceremonies hold great sentimental value to us as Jamaicans, and it is important that they are memorable and inclusive for all who participate.
Mrs. Williams said it is the ministry's goal for all students to experience graduation so that their journey and accomplishments can be celebrated.
To our school administrators, we want all our students to experience graduation. Our goal is to celebrate every student's journey and accomplishments. We don't want graduation to be used to exclude. It is crucial that we are mindful of the financial constraints faced by many of our families and the difficulties and embarrassment it poses when students are not included in graduations.
Consequently, the minister encouraged vendors, whom she described as stakeholders in education, to assist families by offering affordable packages to schools.
I know that many schools use external vendors to provide the gowns and caps, the photos, and other services. We ask that our principals negotiate as hard as they can with vendors, and to the vendors we say, consider the pockets of the parents. While this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for the students, they will never graduate primary school or high school again. We do not want it to be a financial burden on families who may have more than one child graduating.
Mrs. Williams, in her statement, also charged school administrators to work towards creating memorable, inclusive, and meaningful ceremonies that honor students' achievements without placing undue financial strains on families.
My advice is to make these celebrations as accessible to all as possible. Let us work together to create memorable, inclusive, and meaningful ceremonies that honor our students' achievements without placing undue financial strain on families.
For the news on PBCJ, I'm Danita Rodney.
Time now for the business report with Denise Williams.
Good day, everyone, and thank you for joining us on the Business Report. I'm Denise Williams, your guide through the latest happenings in the world of business. Speaking yesterday at his official residence, Chinese ambassador to Jamaica, Chen Daozheng, celebrated the 170 years of friendly cooperation between the two nations and highlighted how China has worked to partner in Jamaica's economic development. The trade volume between China and Jamaica in 2023 was US $1.28 billion, a year-on-year increase of 25.8%. China continues to be Jamaica's second largest trading partner. Chinese companies have invested in Jamaica for more than 20 years, with a cumulative investment of more than US $2.1 billion and direct creation of 40,000 plus jobs. Quick service restaurant chain Mother's Food Group is expanding its distribution network through partnerships with petroleum service station managers Future Energy Source Company Limited, FESCO, and Total Energies, while noting that the collaborations are part of its strategic expansion plan for the Mother's Express brand. The company said that the prime locations for the stations, which serve as a hub of activity, highlight the group's commitment to providing quality food that's conveniently accessible across the island. In March, a Mother's Express outlet opened at the Total Gilmore service station at the corner of Washington Boulevard and Malines Road in St. Andrew. Another outlet will open at Fesco Beechwood Avenue, also in St. Andrew, next month. During trading for the period of May 30, 2024, the following companies represent the top 3 most active stocks that investors bought and sold on the Jamaica Stock Exchange. Lasco Manufacturing Limited with 2,346,526 units, amounting to 17.07% of the market volume in terms of overall sales in the market. Wigton Wind Farm Limited ordinary shares with 2,344,000 842 units amounted to 17.06% of the market volume in terms of overall sales in the market. Trans-Jamaican Highway Limited with 1,824,018 units amounting to 13.27% of the market volume in terms of overall sales in the market. Moving from the money moves of investors, executives, and companies, we turn to the Forex market. On May 30, 2024, the Bank of Jamaica reported that US $51.5 million was bought from Forex traders, while US $59 million was sold to Forex traders. Buying directly from the Bank of Jamaica, foreign currency traders sold the US dollar for $156.50 and bought US dollars for $154.75. The difference between the buy and sell rate was $1.75, which represents a profit for Forex traders for every US dollar traded. Canadian Forex traders earned a trading profit of 48 cents from transactions with the Bank of Jamaica. The Canadian dollar was sold at $114.79 and bought for $114.31. For traders looking at the British pound, they pocketed a profit of $4.37, selling it for $200.18 and buying it for $195.81. For our credit report tip of the day, you can use your credit report to build and secure your financial future. Your credit report can help you set and achieve long-term financial goals. Whether it's buying a home, starting a business, or saving for retirement, understanding your credit can guide your financial planning and decision making. And with that, we wrap up today's business report. I'm Denise Williams. Appreciate your company. Stay well informed, stay ahead of the curve. Until our next update, take care.
In regional news, Barbados believes the private sector can do more in helping to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals. During a private sector roundtable at the SIDS 4 conference in Antigua and Barbuda, permanent representative to the UN and other international organizations in Geneva, Ambassador Matthew Wilson, deemed their contributions as underwhelming. He notes this is despite the efforts of UN agencies.
It's underwhelming compared to the profits that these big businesses are making and the technological innovation that they're showcasing. And there are multiple reasons for this, and I'll give you 4. First, us as governments, I think, need to look at our regulatory and investment facilitation environment. Are we set up to partner and receive the kinds of financial and investment support that the private sector requires? Are we attractive clients to the business community that wants to do good but also make profit? And here, a good signal that many of us small island developing states can send is by signing on to the WTO Investment Facilitation for Development Agreement and fully implementing the Trade Facilitation Agreement.
There's no small island developing state which would answer or give a different answer to yes, we would want it to be on all loans. I think that is a question of the pragmatism that we are trying to standardize. And of course, the issues of whether these policies should be applicable retroactively or only on new loans, and whether you should pay a fee for them, only add to the extent to which, as we say in Barbados, one tends to be humbugging people, making it a little bit too difficult and unnecessarily so.
The health impact of climate change was reinforced during the St. Kitts and Nevis-led side event at the 4th International SIDS Conference in Antigua and Barbuda on Wednesday. At the American University of Antigua, SKN's Andre Huey was there and filed this report.
Leading the event was Prime Minister and Minister of Health, Dr. Terence Drew, who was on a panel comprising Foreign Affairs Minister, Dr. Denzel Douglas, Vice Chancellor of the University of the West Indies, Professor Sir Hilary Beckles, Pro-Vice Chancellor of the University of the West Indies, Ms. Sandra Maynard, Jakowski York, Youth Officer in the Ministry of Youth Empowerment of St. Kitts and Nevis, and Dr. Joel Clark, Minister of Environment and Sustainable Development. Prime Minister Drew outlined in his presentation the effects on health as a result of climate change.
So it means the more weather activities of the extreme that we have, the more people who will suffer. These are direct impacts. with stronger hurricanes comes flood. You have floods, and floods in itself has its own issues. I heard on a panel I was on, people died and disappeared, for example, in Bahamas. Water reached so high that families had to buy life vests, hoping that they can survive the flooding that came as a result. So the Caribbean is really being affected on multiple levels, but the health aspect must never be forgotten.
Professor Sir Hilary Beckles gave a historical background on the impact of slavery on the health of Caribbean citizens, and that reparatory justice is crucial to the development of the region.
So for 250 years, as late as the 1960s, when we entered into the independence process, working class children in this region were still going to school with sugar in their plastic bag to eat when they got hungry. So now we have a population that is addicted to sugar. They were fed on salted fish and salted pork imported from Canada, and they were fed salt and sugar every single day.
Meanwhile, Pro-Vice Chancellor of the University of the West Indies, Ms. Sandra Maynard, who has Kittitian roots, stressed the need for regionalism if the Caribbean is to survive the current challenges.
And what are we doing as a region? And I'm going to say this, that we need to be regionalists now. There is no place for us to start working in silos. And I look at the University of the West Indies, this region's regional institution. So you may not have a physical landed campus, as I say, within any of your islands, but we have a global campus. And that global campus is there to support and educate our young people.
Minister Denzel Douglas spoke on the issue of strengthening the health systems of the region and preventing the spread of diseases.
Also, of course, we want to make sure that the international community and our friends at the bilateral level would want to help us enhance prevention, preparedness, and response to better cope with the health emergencies and the epidemics which confront us from time to time.
In Trinidad and Tobago, the Ministry of Youth on Thursday launched the Prior Learning Assessment and Recognition Project. The project is aimed at providing an opportunity for those with vocational skills and knowledge to gain complementary certification to further their professional development. Here's more in this report from TTT News.
The soft launch for the project, which is spearheaded by the Ministry of Youth Development and National Service, was held on Wednesday. The PLAR project creates more opportunities for young people to realize their fullest potential, according to Line Minister Foster Cummings. He said many of them become skilled in areas like electrical but do not have a certificate to complement those skills.
And what we are doing, therefore, is those persons who have those skills in various fields, but they do not have the certification. We are now, in collaboration with the NTA, providing that opportunity for them. So that every young Trinbagonian can transform that practical skill that I spoke about, that they've honed over the years, into recognized qualifications, tangible success.
The project will aim to assess and certify eligible persons within the MYDNS's ambit and award them with either the Trinidad and Tobago National Vocational Qualifications, the Caribbean Vocational Qualification, or institution-based qualification certificates. Minister Cummings shared some of the areas of skill to be targeted in Phase 1 of the project.
Data operations, mechanical maintenance, electrical installation, plumbing, motor vehicle chassis systems, welding, general construction, cosmetology, air condition and refrigeration, commercial food preparation, to name a few. This program is on a mission to turn talented bakers into certified chefs, intuitive home mechanics into accredited automotive technicians.
In sports, the Racers Grand Prix is set for this Saturday at Jamaica's National Stadium starting at 7 p.m. Tickets are available for purchase online and at select outlets. Racers Grand Prix CEO Devon Blake says the goal is to produce a world-class meet, showcasing Jamaica's capacity to develop and attract premier athletes in track and field. Some of the world's biggest track and field stars are set to compete at this year's meet, including the flamboyant American Noah Lyles, the reigning World Championships double sprint champion. The 26-year-old Lyles is set to compete in the men's 100 meters, during which he will face Jamaica's rising star, Oblique Seville, and British sprinter Zarnell Hughes, both coached by Mills at Racers Track Club. Tajay Gale has been added to the long jump field. Gale copped bronze at this year's World Championships. He joins the likes of compatriot and World Championships finalist Kerry McDonald and William Williams of the United States. And that's it for the weekend news on PBCJ. Remember, we are the People's Station.